Hola a todos. I just wanted to show you a few items with the interactive whiteboard software. There's a software called Notebook, and currently the version I'm using is Notebook 11. Just a heads up, this program is a tank to have on a computer. It eats up a lot of your hard drive, and unfortunately it also eats up a lot of your RAM, your memory that you use to run programs. So if you're not using it, to have it closed totally, and if you don't have it closed, it's gonna slow down your machine a little bit unless you have a really brand new machine. I like it. It's totally worth the size of the file. Um, it can be used simply as like an overhead projector, but it can also be used to enhance it. And I'm showing you first here the packets that I use, for example, in Spanish 1. The green is, of course, the text that I've added, and there's a little function here within Notebook. Notebook is the software that looks like this, the one that my mouse is pointing to. So I've added this PDF, which is all of my homework packet for this chapter, and then I've just added text on top. And the way that I would add text is simply by going to the text tool, clicking on it, and then just drawing a little window where I can add text here. So it draws a lot like Microsoft Word. You could change the color of it, you could make it green, and you could make it bold and switch the kind, etc. Now, if you make one set of text, it's easier, I think, if you just hit duplicate, Control D. On a Mac, you would actually hit on a Mac Command D, and what that does, if I like this and I want to duplicate it, I can just have all my text be the same size, the same font, and the same bold or italic or whatever, and I can just change the text quickly by just adding in my new answer, and I can just move that answer wherever I need it. The other thing I like about this too is that I can add this little screen, and the screen allows me to pull answers. So if I'm going through with the class, look, we're going to go through number 2 next, who has answer 2. So it's a lot like just pulling that paper down off of a transparency. So that's one way that I use them. I have a few of these posted in session 5. One is called currency and the other one is alpha. The currency one I want to show you is just like the name implies. I wanted to show students what currency looks like before we traveled. So before I went to Spain, I grabbed images actually from this gallery, and I could type in the word euro, and I could find any pictures of euros that I wanted to add to my presentation. Now what I like about this is when I'm actually in presentation mode, that these are all what you call infinite cloners. So I can keep adding, which is a nice little counting activity. It's also a good way to ask questions, like if I go to my next slide, a lot like PowerPoint, you just go from slide to slide. If I ask a student, how many euros is 682? ¿Cuántos euros son 6,82 euros? So a student would have to know, look, the bill that I see is a 5. There's no 1, so I have to grab a coin, and I need 82. So I'd pull 50, 20, makes 80, and 2 for 6,82. 6 euros con 82. And I could just have a student come up to the whiteboard and they would pull for 100. So I would grab 2 50s, and the way to make that happen is by making an image, an infinite cloner. And to do that, I'm actually going to go back to the pages and show you. So this one, for example, I can make this image by right-clicking on it. I can make it an infinite cloner. What does that do? It just means I can repeat and repeat and repeat however many. So you could do this with shapes, you can do this with text, you can do it with any kind of image that you pull. You can make it into an infinite cloner. The third example that I want to show you is just a quick way of how I teach open with the alphabet. So again, this is a large file, so it's going to take a little bit to open up. And when I do, this is about day 2, day 3 with Spain, or Spanish 1, and it's almost all in target language. So I'm having students go through and help me out with the sounds, for example. So I'll say, usually there's colors in here. So I'll delete that quick. But if I have these kind of the shades turned off, and I say, okay, clase, ¿cómo se pronuncia esta? Se pronuncia A. Clase, todos repitan A, and I go through, okay, now I have A, E, I, O, and U, all the vowels pronounced. ¿Cómo se pronuncia? Se pronuncia E, I, O, I, U. So then I go through and I say, okay, ba con A. B with A would be pronounced ba in español. Next is be, B, bo, bu, highlight C. Oh, this one's irregular. It has a little funny asterisk. Instead of being K, it would be say. Next is C, ko, and ku. And I go to the next slide, highlighting, uncovering all my letters. Okay. And I could use a screen, and I could pull these down. So, okay, next student, will you pronounce K with A? ¿Cómo se pronuncia K con A? Se pronuncia K. Next, I would have my song. So I would grab my song for the alphabet, and I would teach them, okay, this is how you would pronounce some of these letters, and then I would make it into a song. So it's a nice way to have a series, opening with this, next is this. I mean, this is basically like a 45-50 minute lesson from start to finish. So I have images here that I've pulled, so I want to have students practice spelling them out. So I would say, okay, everybody open to page 12 in your textbook, which is where the alphabet is. Okay, ¿cómo se escribe? And I would walk through students, okay, ¿cómo se escribe la manzana? How do you spell apple? And I would say, okay, se escribe, and I would have a student say that, and I would walk them through. Se pronuncia L or se pronuncia M? This is pronounced L or M? It's pronounced L. L-A, M-A-N, Z-A-N-A, etc. That's manzana, clase torbita manzana. So I have an image and I have some spelling here where students can practice how to spell things. What I like about notebooks so much is that you can have one slide, you can have 100 slides, and you can have it sequenced nicely, so you're not looking for transparencies, and it's not boring like PowerPoint. It has some interaction. You can unveil stuff, you can add your own drawing to it, of course, on the whiteboard. You can save those. Folks, I took a 2-day seminar on this, and if you have a SMARTBoard in your classroom, I highly recommend having the training. I'm familiar with technology, and I got a lot out of the training, and I've dumped a lot of time into preparing lessons this way. I don't use an overhead projector anymore because I just don't feel like I need one. So the examples are on the Moodle course, Smart Currency, Smart Alpha, and notebook software is in the lab, so if you want to check it out, you can. You're welcome to use or edit or modify these lessons. Everything that's mine on the course is yours, so share with your colleagues, or feel free to use it if you have a currency unit or you want to steal the alphabet for those that teach Spanish. So let me know if you have questions. Good luck. There are other options besides Smart boards. There are Promethean boards, and they're going to be more on the market. Smart got a lot of the market when it first came out, and Promethean was one of the competitors, and you're going to see trainings on both, and you're going to see that school districts have pretty much one or the other. But this is another tool that you can add to that technology knowledge set that teachers can use to enhance their teaching. So don't hesitate to ask questions, and very